Hello students. In this video we will discuss chapter number 4, that is business services. In this chapter we will learn about the various kind of objectives of business services, nature and features of business services, the difference between goods and service, and so a lot of things. So moving further, let's start with the introduction of business services. See what exactly business services are. See, business services are those activities which helps a business to run very smoothly. For example, you can say banking, insurance, warehousing, transportation. So they are known as business services. Okay, this is one of the short introduction of business services. But if you want to underline, this paragraph is given that services are those separately identifiable, essentially intangible activities that provide satisfaction of wants and are not necessarily linked to the sale of product or another service. Okay, see what this line means. Okay, services are identified separately. uh, in short, you can say that these are some of the activities which are essential for any kind of business to run the business very smoothly and flawlessly. For example, it's given here the service are those economic activities which are intangible and imply an interaction to be realized between the service provider and the consumer. So, it means you cannot separate the service from the service provider. The involvement of consumer should be there. We will discuss this further, but yes, I'll tell you again, services are those activities which help, those activities and those necessary activities, I can say, which help any business to run smoothly and to work properly. Okay, now we will understand what are the various features of and various the nature of services. Then you will understand better what exactly the concept of services is. Now, first was intangible. First feature of services is intangibility. Now, what is intangibility? See, intangibility means service is the kind of product which we cannot touch, which we cannot see. We only can feel the result of the services. Okay, it's not like the any tangible product like table, chalk, mobile phone. They are known as tangible product because we can see them and we can touch them. But services are those products, those intangible products which cannot be touched. It's given here that they cannot be touched, and for example, one cannot taste the doctor's treatment or touch entertainment. We just only can feel this thing. Next one is inconsistency. Now, what is inconsistency? See, inconsistency means that there should be at the presence of customer, actually, because he's given here that there is no standard tangible product. Services has to be performed exclusively each time. It means they should be performed at the moment of demand. Whenever there is a demand for service, they are performed because they are intangible product and we cannot make the stock or make the inventory of the product so they can be used afterwards. So they should be performed exclusively at the time of demand by the customers. Next one is inseparability. Now, inseparability means I told you already, you cannot separate services from the service provider. Okay, it's given here that simultaneous. It is a simultaneous activities of production and consumption being performed. Okay, they should be produced at the time of demand exclusively. So you can say that it cannot be separated from the service provider. Uh, One line that you can see here that service providers may design a substitute for the person by using appropriate technology, but the interaction with the customer remains the key feature of services. It means that the interaction of consumer should be there, customer should be there, which means it should be provided on the hand of demand. Okay, at the time of demand. So yes, you cannot separate service from the service provider. Okay, so this is the thing. Next one is inventory, and its bracket is given in less. It means we cannot make the stock of services, or because they are not product, they are not the tangible product. So we cannot make the stock of the services. It should be used on the hand and on the time of demand, and it should be used at the time they are produced. Okay, because given here that they cannot be stored for the future use. That is, service are perishable, and providers can at the best store some associated good but not the service itself, because services are intangible products and they are regarded as intangible in nature. So they should be produced at the time, and they should be consumed at the same time. So that is less inventory. We cannot make the stock for services. Moving to the next, involvement. Yes, this is a quite important point. Involvement means that one of the there should be the participation of customer in a service delivery process. See, if the consumer is not there, you are not able to provide the service because it should be produced exclusively and at the time of demand. So, who will make the demand? Definitely, consumer will make the demand. And if the consumer is not present and consumer is not involved in this service providing process, service cannot be provided properly. So in exchange of service, the consumer should be involved in particular mechanism. The consumer should be present in the service mechanism. So this is the involvement concept of services. So these are the various features of services. Now next one is difference between services and good. See, it's nothing. Uh, a table is given over here. It's also given in your book that what are the various kind of difference between service and good. So let's see. The first difference is on the basis of nature. See, on the basis of nature, services is an activity or a process. Okay, for example, watching a movie or in a cinema hall or advice from a doctor or something like that. And goods, they are physical object. Okay, like you can say table, you can say mobile phone. Okay, an example is given here: a video cassette of a movie. In services, we are watching a movie in cinema hall, and in goods, we are having a video cassette, we are having a CD, or we are having a movie in a pen drive. So that is the difference between the goods and services. On the basis of type, they are heterogeneous, they are homogeneous. Okay, heterogeneous and homogeneous. Next one is intangibility. Intangibility means our services are intangible in nature. Okay, we cannot touch that thing, and goods are tangible. We can feel that, like medicine, like a mobile phone or something like that. And services are intangible, doctor's treatment, lawyer's advice, or something like that. Inconsistency, different customers having different demands, and different customer getting standardized demand in goods, stand demand fulfilled. But in services, uh, different customers having different demand. Okay, and in goods they are produced as a standardized product. Example is given here in services. There are mobile services like Vodafone, like Airtel, and any other mobile services. And in goods, it is standardized demand fulfilled like mobile phones. Okay, so that is inconsistency. Services having inconsistent in nature because the demands are different of different customers, and services should be provided according to their demands. Next one is inseparability. Yes, you cannot separate the production and consumption because the production and consumption should be at the same time. I told you that the service should be provided at the time of demand. But yes, in case of goods or product, the separation of production and consumption can be done because you can produce the thing and you can store for the future use. Inventory, yes, you cannot keep the inventory in services, but you can keep inventory in case of goods. And involvement, the participation of customers should, at the time of service delivery, should be there. Okay, when the service is providing, customers should be involved in this case. And yes, involvement at the time of delivery, not possible. Okay, it is not necessary that during the time of production only the consumers are using that thing. The consumers can use the thing afterwards. So this is the case of involvement. Involvement at the time of delivery in case of goods is not possible. So they can be used afterwards. So these are the various differences between goods and services. Our next topic is type of services. So there are three broad categories of services. First one is business services that I already explained, that banking, insurance, transportation, warehousing, and communication service, which helps business to run very smoothly. And next type of service is social service. Social service means this these services or these activities are done to improve the standard of the weaker section of society. Is given here to set the standard of the living for the weaker section of society, to provide the educational to their children, or to provide the healthcare and hygienic condition in slum areas. You can underline this if you want. These are the main points for social service. For example, NGOs, non-government organizations, and government agencies who are doing charitable work, or any business firm who are doing charitable work, that is example of social service. And next type of service is personal service. Now, personal service are those service which are experienced differently by different customers. For example, if you are going in a restaurant, so some people want to sit in an AC room, and some people want to sit in a open air. So they both want to experience a different kind of service. So restaurant will provide them personal service. Okay, same thing happen in case of tourism, that somebody wants some other kind of package, and another person want another kind of package. So the tourist company or the tourism company can provide them the services according to their personal needs. So these are the three categories of services: business, social, and personal services. Moving to the next, we will discuss about the business services. What are the various kind of business services? So I'll explain you again that these are some services which provide the smoothness to the business activities, because you see in today's world a business need to get strong in every sense. Okay, they should get the good transportation facilities, they should get good communication facilities, they should have the facilities of storage, that we say warehousing, and yes, funds. The fund is regarded as the blood of the business, and for that thing banking is a service. So these are the some various kind of business service we are going to discuss. So the first and main and one of the most important business service is banking. Now, what is banking? So banking you can understand that banking is a word derived from the banks. Okay, so what banks do? Uh, See, some service of banks are given here, that checks, draft, order. A bank accepts the money on deposits, repayable on demand, and also earn a margin of profit by lending money. So, what exactly banking is? So, banking is completely related with the terms money. So, every business needs money. If we talk to the personal, every person needs money, or and if we talk in a business sense, the money or the finance is known as the blood of the business. So banking and the financial institutions, the banks, they provide the funds to the business. Not only provide the funds to the business, they also provide some extra services like check, like overdraft and draft, and also they accept the money from the public and from the business. We will understand better, but first we will see what are the various type of banks which are mentioned in this chapter. Mainly, there are four type of banks we are going to study. One is commercial banks, next one is cooperative banks, specialized banks, and central bank. So, commercial banks are the banks you can see around yourself. So, what are the main points to remember about commercial banks? See, these banks are governed by the Indian Banking Regulation in 1949. You can underline this. This is quite important. And according to its banking means accepting deposits of the money from the public for the purpose of lending for the investment. See, what does it mean? Public deposit the money in their bank, and bank lend this money to the investors. Okay, or you can say to the business also, or to the other public in form of loan and in form of credit. So these are commercial banks. The example of commercial bank is SDFC, Bank of Baroda, SBI. These are commercial banks, and there are two type of commercial banks in our economy. That is, one is public sector and another one is private sector. I already told you what are public sector units and public sector enterprises. Public sector banks are those which the government has a major role in that. For example, SBI, Bank of Baroda, and private banks which are managed and owned and controlled by the private promoters like SDFC, ICICI, okay, Kotak Mahindra. These are the example of a private bank. So first type of bank is commercial banks, one of the most simple terms for the banks. Next type of bank is cooperative banks. Now, cooperative banks are governed by the provision of state cooperative societies. These are the banks for the cooperative societies, and the main purpose of this banks are to provide the cheap credit to their members. The members of the society or the member of these banks, they can get the cheap credit from these banks, and these banks are actually meant for the fulfillment of the social objective for this, because they actually help to raise the standards of its members by providing them cheap credit, and it is an important source of rural credit actually, and this type of banks mainly have the rural areas, um, and most of these banks are included in the agriculture financing in India, because a great part of or a big part of Indian economy is related with the agriculture. So to raise the standard and to provide the strength to the agriculture sector, these banks plays very important role. Next type of banks are specialized banks. So these banks are foreign exchange banks, industrial banks, development banks, export import banks, which fulfill the specific needs of the unique activities like providing financial aid to the industries, like provide the financial aid to the heavy projects. Okay, which are not possible for the other type of banks like private or public, and to help in the foreign trade or something like that. So these are some specialized banks which help in this kind of activity. You can underline this: foreign exchange banks, industrial banks, export import banks. This comes under the category of specialized banks. Next one is central bank. Now, central bank, you can say central bank is the father of all the banks. Yes, because it controls and regulates the activities of all the commercial banks of that country. And in India, RB Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of our country, which makes rules and regulations and which controls the activities of all the banks in India. In the line is given here that it controls and coordinates currency and credit policy of any country. Whatever the policy regarding the banking are made, these are they are made by the Central Bank of India, and that is Reserve Bank of India. Now we will move further that functions of commercial bank. What role the commercial banks play in the economy? First one is acceptance of deposit. I already told you that they accept the deposit from the public and uh, to further grant the loans and credit. It's given here that deposits are the basis of the loan operation since banks are both borrowers and lenders of money. It means how the bank will lend the money, how will bank provide the credit and give the loans when it will accept the deposit from the public. Public deposit their money in the bank in form of saving account and any other account like fixed account, RD account, and then bank further grant these loans to the public or to the business who lend this. So, how someone can deposit the money? So, a person or the business house can deposit the money in form of various accounts. There are some kind of accounts. First one is saving account. Saving account, I think all of you know what exactly saving account. So, which are used to save some, which are used to save the money. You can deposit the money which can remain safe in the bank, and the bank will provide you the interest on that. For example, like 4% per annum, they will provide you the interest on that particular money. Another type of account is current account. Okay, account is mainly for the business houses because uh, in this current account, the deposits can be withdrawn anytime, which is not possible in saving account. And in saving account, there's a limit of withdrawal, but in current account, the money can be withdrawn anytime and it can be deposited anytime, okay, without any prior notice. So this type of account is mainly for the business houses and business firms, and bank will provide no interest on that. Bank can charge some fees for the using of current account by the business houses. And one of the other type of deposit accounts in the banks are fixed accounts. Fixed deposit आपने नाम सुना होगा, like FD, that you deposit the account. You deposit the amount for a particular point of time, like for 5 years, for 2 years, for 3 years, and bank will provide you the higher rate of interest. This is a one of the method of investment for so many public. So these are some of the accounts. So first function of the commercial bank is to accept the deposit from the public, and next one is just vice versa, lending of funds. Okay, the bank will accept the deposit, and then the bank will lend the funds to the needed people or to the business houses in form of overdrafts, cash credit, discounting trade bills, term loans, consumer credits, and other miscellaneous advances. So, why the business will provide this kind of funds or lend money to the public? Because the when the bank will provide the loans or bank will provide the credits to the people or to the business house, it will charge some interest, which is regarded as the income for the banks. So the lending of funds is other function. Next one is check facility. I think all of you heard about the word check. Check facility is one of the very important service which is provided to the customers by the banks. Okay, the check is the most developed credit instrument. Actually, the unique feature and function of the banks for the withdrawal of deposit. Now, see. The check is a kind of instrument and it is a kind of a medium of exchange which can be cashable immediately in the bank. So what is the benefit of that? See, it is a one of the secure thing. You don't have to carry the cash with you. If you want to make the payment or something, you can give the check, and the check can be cashable in on the bank counter immediately. So this is also one of the facility, one of the function of commercial bank. Moving to the next. Remittance offer. Now, remittance offer means transfer of funds from one place to another. This is one of the good feature. If you want to transfer money to some other person, you just go in the bank, and nowadays you can see mobile banking. It's just in your hand. You just can transfer the money by the click. But this is the facility which is provided by the bank, and that is known as remittance of fund to transfer the money from one place to another. Next one is allied services. Now, allied services are other type of services like um, locker facilities like underwriting services and selling of shares and debentures. These are some other kind of services which are provided by the commercial banks. And you can say the payment of insurance premiums, collection and dividends. See, so these are bill payments, you can say. So these are some allied services which are provided by the commercial banks. So see, we can conclude that commercial banks really plays a very important role in the economy and in the business activities. Next topic is e-banking. So I think all of you are very familiar with the e-banking. It is a term which are really used on the large basis nowadays because it is quite easy and it is quite very convenient. We will see we will understand the short concept of that. E-banking is a banking which is done through electronic media by using mobile phones, internet, and all these things. So, see, there are some kind of services which are provided e-banking, electronic fund transfer, automated teller machines. Yes, ATMs. They are also the example of e-banking. And the point of sales. Point of sales means there are some points where you can deposit the money or where you can take off the money. Okay, like Airtel Payments Bank and all. Electronic data interchange and credit cards, electronic or digital cash. So these are all the example of e-banking. So e-banking, I think all of you understand what exactly e-banking is. The using of the use of banking service or the uses of banking service by electronic media that is known as e-banking. Now, what are the benefits of e-banking? E-banking is definitely beneficial because e-banking provides 24 hours, 365 days a year. You don't have to wait anytime. You can, if you want to transfer the money on Sunday, you can transfer. If you want to transfer the money at the 12 at night, you can transfer it very easily because it is very convenient and it provides 24 hours, 365 days services. Okay, no holidays, nothing can stop the working of that. Customers can make a and e-banking provides unlimited network to the bank. Okay, so you can reach all the branches at by any PC connector or a modem home telephone. Load on branches can be considerably reduced because now the people don't have to move to the bank for any work. They can perform almost every activity of banking through the mobile phone or through computer or through e-banking. Uh, okay, we move a little bit further. Customers can make some of the permitted transactions from the office or house or while traveling via mobile phone. Yes, you all of you know that like banking app, Paytm, PhonePe, or any other UPI app. It calculates the sense of financial discipline by recording each and every transactions. Okay, I just missed that word. It only means that it makes the record of every transactions, which really helps you to see how much transactions you made, and it actually provides a secure thing because you have the record of every transactions, and whenever you want to see, you can see, which is actually very hard to maintain on the paper. So this is the thing. Greatest customer satisfaction by offering the unlimited access to the bank, not limited by the walls of the branch, less risks and the greater security because now you don't have to travel with the cash. You don't have to worry about keeping cash in your pocket. There are so many apps. There are so many options are available in e-banking. So these are the various benefits of e-banking. You just can go through it. Uh, so this is one of the important service that is banking, and next type of services for like insurance and other warehousing we will discuss in next part.